agree.
Guys, it's not complicated. You're an upperclassman. You're at a fraternity party. A lovely young freshman girl gets drunk, like too many do, especially in their freshman year. And she's nearly passing out. And you see your roommate or your fraternity brother walking her upstairs. Have the gumption to step in. Tell him, expose him, save him. Have the nerve. Look at that young woman as if she were your sister or your mother. You know it's wrong. You know. This is about the goon mauling his date.
That is your vice president talking about sexual assaults on campus.
You know what? He laid it out. He's speaking the truth.
We have Alex Stone.
It was like he was talking to his own son.
It's unbelievable. Mm-hmm. You know, tell me you wouldn't vote for that guy, right? And with all the political rhetoric out there, tell me you wouldn't vote for that guy. Alex Stone is with us. 620 here, Big 550 KTRS. It's a Democratic debate, Alex Stone, but lots of people are talking about that Joe Biden speech from Syracuse. I don't know if you've had a chance to see it.
You know, I've seen parts of it, heard parts of it. It was it had a lot of passion, definitely behind it. But here, the focus, because he is not going to be on stage, and there were some who thought that that he would be on stage during this debate. If we had talked about this specific debate a month or so ago, right before the first debate and the only debate the Democrats have had in Nevada. About a month ago, the whole talk was about Joe Biden and would he run, wouldn't he run? Well, now we know he's not going to be up there, so it'll only be three people tomorrow night. It'll be Hillary Clinton, Bernie Sanders, and Martin O'Malley. Now that Lincoln Chafee and Jim Webb have bailed out of the race, a much smaller group, looking very different from not only the last time they debated, but also compared to the Republicans and their massive group up on stage.
We haven't seen a debate where there's only three. So maybe, just maybe, there might be a lot more back and forth and a lot more actual debating in a debate.
Exactly, and get ready for people to say it was boring because they likely will get into the minutia of topics. And we already know from debate organizers they want to focus quite a bit on the economy. The Republicans have now had two debates that have been economic focused, and now the Democrats will get a bit of that. And that can get very much into the wonkiness of numbers and facts and inside Washington, how numbers are moved around. So there's that weirdness of the whole thing that yes, everybody wants substance and argues that the Republican debates, because there are so many up on stage, because of how moderators have handled it, that it's been more about the show and less about substance. But then when you get too into substance, people say, well, I turned it off because it was boring. It wasn't entertaining enough. So they've got to walk that very fine line, and that will be tough to do tomorrow when you've got a Bernie Sanders who is all about the money and all about the middle class. But to his supporters, that's what they want to hear. Hillary Clinton also can get right into those weeds as well. So we'll have to see which direction they go to keep it moving along so it doesn't get too down deep where the average person is sitting there going, I have no clue what they're talking about.
Alex Stone, why Saturday night? That seems like an odd choice to have a debate.
Yeah, when nobody is watching and nobody's really listening.
Right.
There are those who believe that the Democrats have chosen Saturday nights on purpose. There are claims against the party saying that they believe that this is a way to push Clinton forward, so people really don't see her being challenged. The party says that's ridiculous. It has nothing to do with any sort of planning in that way, that it was more when the venues were available, when the broadcasters could give their broadcast time, and when they came up with the money and the space and everything. So this is something that the party says, no, that there is no evil plan behind the whole thing. But the last Democratic debate, that was a weekday, but many of the upcoming ones are on Saturdays. So it does give a different dynamic to these debates. One, you've got it on a broadcast network on CBS versus a cable network for the first time in this debate season, and it's on a Saturday night. So you'll have a different audience. It will be fairly late for some, 9 o'clock at night on a Saturday night. We'll have to see what that means audience numbers-wise, but
Right.
it will be a different setup and fewer people up on stage.
Well, and as we know from the Obama campaign, it's not how many people are watching, it's who's watching and when that they're going after. So that's all
Well, and
interesting.
especially here in Iowa, they're really going to be going after the influential voters here. We understand from the campaigns that, yes, they know this is going to be broadcast across the country, but they really want to focus in on the Iowa voters who are going to be paying attention here, that there is so much of a focus on what's going to happen on Saturday night in this state specifically. And, the caucuses are somewhat confusing. So we've seen at the campaign events already, they are telling people, yes, we may be 2.5 months away, but here's how you do it. Here's where you need to be. All of the campaigns really trying to drum up support in this crucial state as the first one kicking off all of the caucuses and then the primaries to get going and to try to plant their flag. Every campaign wants to say, I won the first one.
ABC News correspondent Alex Stone. Alex, have a good weekend. Thanks for checking in.
You got it. Thanks, guys. Have a great weekend.
624, Big 550, KTRS. What happens when a self-driving car gets pulled over by a policeman? We'll tell you next on the Big 550, KTRS.